What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube, presented as always by our friends at Pure Options Precision Crafted Cannabis. If the lack of daylight in our world at this point, what's dark by 5 p.m. now, is starting to get to you, if the cold, gray weather is starting to get to you, Pure Options is here to brighten your weekend for you to have your most relaxing, chill vibe, watching football, whatever you might be doing. Go to pureoptions.com, download the app. I'm telling you, join the Pure Perks loyalty program. It's cool to see those points rack up. And swing by any location. 3 in Lansing, Mount Pleasant, Detroit, Muskegon. Again, pureoptions.com. And our Friday afternoon show, presented by our friends at Firekeepers Casino and Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. Download the app. Bet the games this weekend. Have some fun. Do it within your limits. Or just, if you're looking for something to do this weekend, swing on down to Dacey's Taproom and Sportsbook off I-94 in Battle Creek. Unbelievable at Firekeepers Casino. Enjoy the rest of the casino as well. And also our Friday afternoon show presented by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask and Company Kitchen and Bar. Looking for a place to watch the MSU football game on Saturday? Maybe stick around for the MSU basketball game right after that? Maybe watch the MSU women's soccer game before that? Like, just to park your ass on a bar stool or at a table with unbelievable, you can enjoy the lunch, try something else for dinner, have beers all the way through, sit there with friends and other people. Front 43 and Cask and Company is here for you. Jason, how you doing, brother?
Why don't you write something? Huh? Why don't you write something?
I mean, I felt all of Fred Human.
Yeah, we should get Fred Human up to Front 43 and Cask and Company. They have Keno there, right?
I don't know that
everybody
they do.
could feel Fred Human in their presence if they went up there.
Yeah, no, it's I don't think they do have Keno. That's the one. It's not a Keno place. I don't mind Keno, but it's not a Keno place.
I mean, Keno doesn't bother anybody, right? I mean, it's just a screen if you want to put your. I think it used to bother people when they would have to, like, it would bother the servers and stuff. I remember that because I used to play back in the day. Servers used to, like, bartenders hated it because it didn't really generate any income for them. So you're like slapping your thing on the counter, your slip, and it was like, yeah, they were not paying attention to that. But
Keno has only ever bothered me when there's like, 3 TVs in the place and you're trying to get a game on,
but you can't get anything on that TV. The Keno TV is like the lottery's TV, right? Like, I don't think you can hook it up to.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, maybe you could at your house. You could probably take that off the wall and put it up and use it. Put a soccer game on it or something. But
something like that.
Anyway,
yeah. Well, we've got what I think is going to be a show of good Groovy Donut Twitter questions coming up.
Yeah.
Excited about it. We are going to. I think by the next Twitter question show we do, we're going to have some alternate ways for people to get a hold of us. I'm hearing, like, from streams of people who are just leaving Twitter and wanting other ways to do this, and it's mostly about.
But we've had other ways for a while.
Yeah, but it's mostly about being alerted for it, and when to get them in. And
you're not good at that either.
Hey, listen here. I'm trying to turn okay. We are going to figure out a way to get this done. We are going to get this done.
Yeah.
For people, because I agree. We need to meet you wherever you are.
Sure.
And so we'll figure out a way to do that.
I checked out the Blue Sky. A lot of cat pictures and shit. I mean, when it starts popping, I think I might head over. But you know what I mean? Like,
it's a nice, friendly place.
Now.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, no, we're not leaving Twitter. The show account's not leaving Twitter. But we do need to. A lot of people don't want to be there, so we're gonna meet.
And I get that. I left Facebook like last year or some
you
point.
Left MySpace like in 2022.
Hell yeah, dude!
Right?
I missed MySpace. It's like a bedazzle my page, put some music up there, my top 6 friends to show my friends what's up. Do you want to jump in the top 6? Like, bring that shit back. But when I got rid of Facebook, I was like excited. It's been great to not have to have that alleviated off your head.
Yeah, I'm not leaving Twitter either. I've decided. I want my voice on there, and a lot of people I still interact with are there. But I'm not going to add time on social media. So if I'm around, the time I spend just perusing, it's a much more pleasant place on Blue Sky, and it's just less toxic. It just is. I mean, Like one guy today was like, "You going over there?" You basically, I don't know what he called me, but basically like a fuck nut. Well, yeah, this is why people leave. I mean, this is.
I guarantee it was a fuck nut.
It was something along those lines. But anyway, that's it is what it is. Before we get into our Groovy Donut Twitter questions, what we are betting this weekend, presented by Firekeepers and the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. It is one of those weekends. This is why Pure Options is a must for me this weekend. I mean, I've got a lot of MSU stuff to cover, so maybe not on Saturday during the day, but no soccer. I mean, international break. It's just ass. It's just. I mean, I hate FIFA. I hate FIFA. I would sign up for no World Cup ever again to get rid of it.
I did notice that during the picks with Harry that you guys didn't go on and on at the end, so there must be some
it's
glorious stoppage.
Yeah, Nations League bullshit and all sorts of stuff. It's just I cannot.
I feel like there's so many leagues that you guys shouldn't run out of soccer, right? Like Mexican soccer, all the things.
Everybody takes a break. Everybody takes a break.
Wow.
The whole. It's just, yes, it's awful.
That's some XFL level shit. Like, why wouldn't you jump on right now if you're a lower level league and have
some of the lower, like Torquay United, my club is still playing, but it's hard. A lot of the books don't carry the 6th Division English soccer.
How many MGs did I take before this show? I'm talking soccer now. What's going on? I don't know where I'm at anymore.
Well done. All right. Well, are you betting anything this weekend?
Absolutely. Tonight I like Wyoming plus 10 and a hook tonight. Our friend Cody Tucker against the Colorado State. I know that they have a semi-rivalry. Give me 10 and a hook there. Arkansas plus 15 and a hook at home. I like the home dog against Texas. I respect Texas. I just think that's way too many points. Air Force plus 4 and a hook at home against Oregon State. Oregon State is god-awful. And the NFL, I love Pittsburgh plus 3. I love Minnesota minus 6.5 at Tennessee. And, of course, we talked about it with Harry. You guys are pussified and scared of the Jags, but give me Detroit minus 13. I might play that all the way up to minus 20.5.
I'm seeing Detroit at minus 14. So if you find it at 13, great. One of the things I think I'm going to do with Detroit is I think I'm going to, if I can get this line the way I want it, because the Chiefs line keeps coming down slightly.
Tease?
If I can tease the Chiefs up to 9.5, and I can cheese the Lions down to like 7.
Cheese it, tease it, whatever
you need to do. Let's
run this.
That's probably going to be my play.
I like that. What's the odds
this weekend? That teaser, so it's probably like minus 130 for that teaser, depending on if it's minus 7 or minus 6.
So betting 130 to win 100,
something like that. Yeah, it can be all right. Yeah, we'll have some fun this weekend.
Cash right
we'll
there.
Have some fun this weekend. And I'll be betting against the U.S. soccer team in their second game against Jamaica. That's just what I do. Root for injuries in the end of global soccer.
Nice.
Bring it back to the
true
club
American.
Game.
This guy over here.
Bring it back to the club game. Yeah. All right. Are you ready to dig into these Groovy Donut Twitter questions?
I am, but before we get going, Coach, let's talk about Steve Finore. Coach Steve Finore, a legend around here, a local guy. I'm sure you can talk more about, but great guy, passed away. Was it yesterday? I heard the news yesterday.
Yesterday.
At 60 years old, great guy. Just really sad.
Yeah. No, Steve was. I mean, I was going through my, he and I used to text pretty frequently. And
he was intense, man. I would talk to him, and I was like, I brought up how Jeter was a terrible interview. He got so mad at me. It was great.
Yeah, he was
so pissed. He loved basketball.
Great basketball mind. I would pick his mind about great players in the area or thoughts on like what MSU did the night before. He loved to talk hoops, and he loved kids in this area. Like he was such a good
hoops.
Yeah, he was great. I mean, coached Sexton High School for a while, my alma mater, and obviously was known for his time at East Lansing as well, and had been part of MSU's program back in the championship days. And I mean, like, just good dude, very sad, and I think a lot of people. I mean, when you see the tributes to him today and just people talking about him, yeah, he left his mark. The way he made people feel. And
it wasn't just basketball. Like I spoke on Twitter when my mom passed away in 2019. He ended up stopping by here to give me a basketball, talk hoops, and to see how I was doing. We had a yard sale for my mom at T's Friends down in Old Town. It was god awful, but he and his wife had stopped by just to see how we were doing, and it was just really nice. I'll never forget that forever. So rest in peace, Steve Finore.
Absolutely,
great guy. All right.
All right, on to
that's gone too soon.
We always pivot like from things that are very serious and cool to let's get into donuts and Twitter questions. But one more thing, I do want to. We had not talked about this pre-show. We are going to do some holiday offerings.
Yes,
and one of the things you want to talk a little bit about what we might have going here at Teacups shortly.
Teacups.org. Teacups.org. That's my wife's website. We're going to do some Couch in the Rube Christmas stuff. If you want to get a hoodie, T-shirt, or if you have something in mind, we can make something personal. My wife does that kind of stuff. But we're also going to do Christmas ornaments, Couch in the Rube Christmas ornaments. Santa Rube, we're going to have a Couch in the Rube Christmas ornament. It's not going to be like one of those like dangly, like the ball ones, but kind of like a flat kind of thing that you can put on your tree. I figured people don't want a Santa Rube or a Couch in the Rube like Christmas thing and have to have it around all year. So just put it up on the tree and then forget about it, I guess. So we're going to have some stuff putting it up probably tomorrow or Saturday. You can start buying that stuff. So if you want to buy Christmas, probably try to order it by December 8th or 9th.
We'll share it on our social accounts and probably on my Blue Sky account. Just to, I'm just kidding. Well, probably
all 7 people will see it over there.
Yeah, all 7 of you. It was funny. Brendan Quinn was on there yesterday, and he was like, "Oh, good, another app that doesn't directly open the link the way you should." It is true that
leave it to Quinn to complain. Bing Crosby over here.
Nobody is quite created. All anybody wants is like Twitter 2010 to 2014. That's what they want.
And they seem to be doing that, but it's just kind of like half-assed.
Yeah, it's not quite.
You can't take every element of it.
Every element of that, the functionality of it would be ideal. Largely, I mean, a few more characters and things, but nobody has quite done it all that well yet.
Well, the Threads one, like I said, it was kind of the same kind of thing, right? Well, I think Twitter, and I kind of enjoyed it, but no one was around, so it was like, all right, well, I guess I'll go back to Twitter.
I think some of the stuff that is taking effect even starting today with AI and Twitter in terms of them having complete access to your life and shaping shaping information around which a lot of places do, by the way. If you're using Otter transcription services or whatever, there's lots of that stuff out there. Yeah. There's a little less of it on Blue Sky, and then there's just
it's great to be dumb because I love it. I love Instagram ads. I love when things because it's listening to me and it's putting stuff in front of my face that I enjoy because they heard me talking about it. I love it. I don't get paranoid.
Yeah,
it's it's the great thing about being dumb. You don't have to be paranoid.
I don't mind it either. At some point, whatever. You want to create a fake me through AI somehow? Go ahead.
I got a Santa Claus that blows bubbles out of its ass for Christmas because of Instagram ads.
There you go.
Because it heard me.
There you go.
Worst $40 I've ever spent, but still. It's fun to show up at the door.
All right, let's dig into these Groovy Donut Twitter questions.
All right, Eric Schultz up first, of course. You've spoken many times about Xavier Booker's talent level. Other than shooting set threes, what's one thing he does at a legitimate Big Ten level? That's a good question.
Yeah, it is. He does have more to his offensive game moves-wise, and we just haven't seen a lot of it in games. There might have been one exhibition game, I'm trying to remember which it was, where you see a little of it. He does, I think he can be, he's not a great shot blocker, but he can do that at an okay level, but he's not an aggressive guy. But this is a fair point. He, what he does really, and he hasn't made shots yet, but what I think he will do this year at an upper tier level is hit threes and stretch defenses. And, I think there is a guy in there that's got the skill right away to drive to the hoop. I think with him, it's more mindset than talent. I think that's his biggest issue, and I don't know if that gets fixed. I mean, I don't know. I don't know that he's going to, more than ever, I just see some people are just physically aggressive people. And, like, if you watch somebody like Jackson Kohler right now, who's obviously reshaped his body and grown into the Big Ten, and he didn't get there, he wasn't there right away either, but he is somebody who, seeks contact a little bit, looks very sturdy out there rebounding the ball, and there's just a natural aggression to them, and some guys don't have that, and I think he's got to figure that out, because a lot of other things I think we would start to see if that mindset was there instead of just fading to the baseline or the top of the key to shoot a three. Because the thing for Booker that's going to be challenging in terms of minutes is that doesn't even separate him necessarily if Kohler starts hitting threes, and I think he will this year. And we've already seen him hit one. I think he's hit two in the last two games. But if all of a sudden the one thing you do that separates you isn't something that separates you anymore, that's a bigger problem. There's definitely more of a developmental project than we thought. Curious to see if I'm not writing him off by any stretch. Sophomore. 3 games into his sophomore year, but has some legitimate things he needs to work on in terms of mindset.
Next one from Eric. You keep saying the NIL for MSU isn't a problem, but wouldn't you expect them to be better than 57th nationally in recruiting if that was the case?
Yeah, no, another good question. Fuck, Eric. I mean, yeah, you're good at these.
That's why he goes first.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. No, it's a fair point. And, it'll be interesting. Like, I'm trying to reserve judgment on recruiting for a couple reasons. One, the Mel Tucker hype of a couple years ago in terms of, the guys who were who were pledging and then de-pledging, if that's a word.
Yeah, we don't have enough time
and just
for all of that.
The way the sport is right now, it's very hard for me to get amped one way or another, overly concerned about a program, overly up. Like, I'm just not going to do it. Signing day, I'll sort of evaluate it and then have an opinion, and then obviously how guys develop. But it's a fair point in terms of, and I think the challenge with NIL too is like who you pick to use it with, and there's some reporting that needs to be done here, and some questions that certainly need to be asked, and that's on me to do some of this stuff coming up. But it's a fair question.
Eric, last one from him. We have several books for the kids that have peacocks in them. Whenever we get to one of those pages, I say peacock, like Tony D. If my kids eventually think that's what a peacock actually sounds like, do I win a Father of the Year award?
100%.
Peacock?
And if your kid grows up to be like Tony Dombrowski.
Definitely.
Double awards.
Yes, Father of the Year award. 100%, Eric.
I love Tony D. David Jackson next. Is it Jace Richardson or is it Jackson Kohler who was the best player on the team? No other choices seem correct.
So I would still say most complete player is still Jaden Akins. And again, if you were telling me right now, okay, you got to pick a 5, and you've got to win a pickup game with 5 guys, I still want Jaden Akins. I know he played awful the last game, and inexcusably awful, given that it wasn't like he had 7 rebounds and 5 assists and 4 steals and just didn't shoot well. He just didn't really contribute anything, and that shouldn't happen. And so that's concerning, and he's going to have to sort of prove he at a consistent level that was a blip and a one-off in terms of giving nothing like that. And Jace Richardson, I've said, is the best pure scorer. Like, if you need a bucket, that's the guy I would go to right now. I think, Kohler's the double. He's averaging a double-double through 3 games, 12 and 10, leading the team in both categories. Essential player on the floor. So in terms of the bigs, he's it. I would still, if I had to pick one guy to start a team that could give me everything. And I've seen enough of Jaden Akins that would be the guy. But Jace Richardson's the best scorer, I think.
But I think the Jace Richardson hype is because he looks so comfortable out there, and we're not used to seeing a freshman look so comfortable out there. I think that's why he's getting the hype right now.
And the question will be for him, like right now, he's shooting like 60-some percent, 65% or something like that on the season. And at a certain point, okay, you're shooting this well.
Might need him to shoot 120%.
Well, no, just take more volume. He hasn't shot. He's like 11 for 17. Okay, instead of taking 6 or 7 shots a game, take 10, 11, 12 shots a game. And then, even if your percentage comes down, I think that's where I think you're going to see him earn it. I think I think he's a pretty good defender. He has a couple moments here and there. He's a smooth offensive player. And he is, to me, their best scorer right now.
Next one from David. Shouldn't I expect, with all of MSU's wide receivers available on Saturday, that MSU's passing game will be better than what we've seen in recent weeks? Well, does he have time to throw the ball?
Yeah, that's the problem. And Illinois is the next worst team at protecting the quarterback, by the way. So that'll be sort of interesting. Can MSU finally get a pass rush? Mm-hmm. I think you should expect, especially coming off a bye, Nick Marsh has caught 8 passes. Michigan State has 2 Big Ten wins. In those 2 Big Ten wins, Nick Marsh has 8 catches in both of those for more than 100 yards. That guy's got to have 8 catches. Anything else is just not the right approach. Like, you got to target him. And in the games that they've had a chance to win against high major competition, Michigan and Boston College, and come up short, he was either out or underutilized. And so to me, I think Foster's a solid receiver. We've seen it. We'll see if Glover's status. I don't know that he's going to be back 100%. But certainly you've had 2 weeks to prepare, and you've got a freshman receiver who is proven that he is ready for to be featured. And so I want to see MSU use him appropriately.
Next one from David. Is Charles Brantley the best player on MSU's team? How much danger is there that Georgia or Alabama will open up the checkbook and buy him away for his final year?
Yeah, I mean, the guy's been in the transfer portal like 6 times before, so I wouldn't, I wouldn't say
tested the waters.
I wouldn't say there's zero danger in anything, especially in this day and age. And this is one of the reasons I think these 3 games are important and how they finish the season. And it may not matter with certain guys, but vibes and how people feel about a program and the direction you're headed and going into the offseason, and in this day and age, that stuff matters. It really does. And so, but yeah, I wouldn't rule anything out. I don't think anybody's ever safe, and I think that's one of the frustrating, hard parts about building a program.
Richard Kane next. Is there a better athlete in the NFL than Penei Sewell? I doubt it. Dan Campbell says, yeah, there's no way. He's the best.
Pretty remarkable athlete. You can just see it. Like, yeah.
I mean, it's the NFL. I mean, if we want to, we're going
there's
to
probably
answer this honestly.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah, there is. But Richard, we get what you're saying.
Yeah. No, well, but he's got great feet and he's quick and he's, he's an unbelievable. Left tackle is a great left tackle are some of the best athletes on the planet.
Oh yeah. Jared, if MSU's starting lineup goes to Fears, Jace, Fiddler, Kohler, Zappala, what would that do to the chemistry of the team?
All right, so we're talking Fears and Richardson, Fiddler, who's already there, Kohler, and Zappala. So you're taking out Booker and you're taking out Akins, and you're not going to do that because you're right. You don't. First of all, you wouldn't do that already, and you don't need to do it. Here's the thing: the starting lineup is really, and I hate like leaning on coach speak for this stuff, but coaches are right. Starting lineup.
Don't coach my team.
Shouldn't matter to anybody but the kids playing, and they shouldn't even care, but they do, and that's why you don't want to mess with it too much.
But if Michigan State can get off to slow start after slow start, no one would question it.
100%. Like there will become a point with Booker where if like it's just completely not happening, and the difference is monumental between him and you have to do something. I don't think we will get there with freshman Jace Richardson over senior Jaden Akins. I don't think that happens all year. For one, I just don't think that I think that Akins is going to have a really good season. And what Jace gives you, I think the way he comes off the bench and changes the game offense, I think that's helpful. And you can make decisions based on how guys are playing about how you play, what lineup you play in critical moments down the stretch and to close games. And it also helps keep guys like Booker involved. It gives you, as long as he's not killing you out of the gate, it gives you a chance to say these minutes are for him. He's going to have 7 minutes a game just in those 3.5 minutes he starts each half, and then he's going to have one more stint, and that gets you to the mid-teens, and that keeps him engaged as he's developing. But right, this isn't charity. He's got to earn it to a degree, but I do wonder what the effect would be if you took him out of the lineup. And so you want to be careful of that. You are managing a roster partly. So if you feel that's hurting you, and they get to that point where that becomes a problem, they'll make a move, I think. But you do need to be careful with it.
Travis Maynard, if you were calling the shots, who would your starting 5 be right now, and what would your rotation look like?
I would keep the same 5, but who would my best 5? Who would my go-to 5 be? My go-to 5 would be Kohler at the center. Cohen Carr at the 4. I would be Fears, Akins, and then what I did with either Jace Richardson or Frankie Fiddler would be based on how they were playing in matchups. And maybe that would be the same for Akins if he continues to struggle, or those would be, and we'll see. I think Holloman could still be part of this mix in conversation as well. But right now, my 6, I've got kind of a 6 that would be the guys I would be looking to down the stretch. And because what we've seen from Kohler is their best rebounder is he can play the 5. He can hang in there. And what Carr gives you at the 4, the ability to – now, Carr is not – what Carr still needs to become, I think, is a better rebounder than he is. I think he had 3 rebounds against Kansas. Like Cohen Carr should be a – next level rebounder with his ability and he we talk about guys not having natural aggression. He has it. I sometimes don't understand why he's not a better rebounder, and that would make it make it easier.
I got to say, I mean, I keep staring at Jarrett's starting five from a question ago with Fears, Jace, Fiddler, Kohler, and Zapala. I think I kind of want to see that because I think Fears with guys that could finish, I mean, it's kind of scary because he was definitely the guys were not finishing last game.
But this isn't like soccer where you pick your 11 and you ride them for 60
I
minutes.
understand. I just look at that lineup. If you're going to switch lineups around, I mean, just saying.
Izzo doesn't play a single lineup more than 12 seconds. So, like, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I don't always agree with that. But I'm just saying, like, most of the time I don't agree with it. It's one of the most,
Cockburn.
Yeah.
Alex James, since when did Michigan suddenly have a bunch of top-ranked high school football players? Not too long ago, the state was really struggling to produce 4- and 5-star kids.
It does seem like they've got a bit of a surge here. I don't know why.
Are the rankings different, or
I just think you things come in spades. In basketball, you have more of this prep school thing, so there's more of the IMG types, right? So you're losing kids, and you're not having as much out of Michigan. I have no idea. It does seem like it's a good year for it all of a sudden.
Alex James, what are some Hallmark Christmas movies you have your eyes on this season?
So I get an email. You can sign up at Hallmark for like the latest things coming out, and I need to see what Bethany Joy Lenz is going to be in, and there's one, I think did I record it last weekend or this weekend in Ireland that looks good. All of them, the ones that when they do their new ones, you can tell which ones they put money into. The ones they put money into are great. We can sort of as I do more studying, I put a list together. I've been recording them left and right. And if you are going to host a Hallmark Christmas party, which I'm going to this season again, and I mean I'm telling you right now, Hallmark Christmas party is so much fun. It's not about
right up into my rectum.
It's not painful. It's not about enjoying the movie. The movie's fine, but it's about playing Hallmark bingo, where it's like all the cliches that are in Hallmark movies. You're playing bingo with that, with little little Hershey's Kisses over the. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. I'm telling you right now.
I mean, fucking everybody masturbates.
And if you're gonna host a Hallmark party, make Groovy Donuts part of your party. That would be my best recommendation for you. Right now, by the way, this weekend, you want to go to Groovy Donuts? Maple Bacon Fritters are here. Maple Bacon Fritters. 3 of the greatest words in the English language. Maple Bacon Fritters. You've seen me eat a maple bacon fritter years ago when they were over at the Lugnut Stadium, and the look on my face.
That was not eating.
It was consuming
something else.
It was of some level.
Search it on Pornhub, what you're doing.
Go to groovydonuts.com if you want to order some, or swing on by either location, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m., Thursday through Sunday, on Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing, and also in Williamson. Maple Bacon Fritters.
Alex Mayer, is it possible that MSU's best lineup is 4 guards and a forward? What Villanova used to do.
But
Villanova had guys that could shoot, though, right?
Well, no. So if you went 4 guards, if you're not considering Fiddler, or you're going, I mean, you could argue that Fears, Richardson, Holloman, Akins, Kohler would be the best lineup. But that's 4 guards and a forward. I do think that they have to be willing to explore lineups, and I think they are this year to find, because they do have legitimately good depth, but a real argument that the first 4 guys off the bench are better or as good as anybody else they're starting, right? And so you have to play around and be willing to try different things, especially if more and more teams are going small, and be willing to have advantages, create your own advantages, and that's I think that's something they need to continue to do throughout the season.
Alex Mayer, how far do you see MSU's women's soccer team going in the postseason?
I think they'll win. The Western Michigan dominated the MAC, and Western Michigan's men's team has been quite a ways in the NCAA tournament. I think they will win Saturday at home. Then they go to Duke. It gets tougher. They play Duke in the Sweet 16, but those 2 games are down there. It's hard to imagine them getting past that because I don't think they're a better team than last year. I think they're more seasoned in certain ways. I don't think they'll be afraid of any moment, but it's hard to go into a 1 seed, beat them at home, and so that's probably about where it would end. And they had a bad injury at the beginning of the year that sort of changed the complexion of their team a little bit. Still a really, really good team, but maybe not the high end ceiling that they had hoped.
Alex Mayer, following that Vegas trip, favorite city you vacationed to? I got to say, Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, when we did that last September, when we went to the Packers game, and then we watched football just all day, Saturday and Sunday, and then came back Monday. I mean, I'm not really that picky. I don't need to travel that far to go to where you give me weed, you give me sports, and you give me some sort of golf activity or something, I'm pretty much set. So it's more of a question for my wife, I think, because she travels way more than I do anyway. So, Mojo Jojo, Jason, where are you and T going to go next? Does the timeshare company and paper shuffle lady have locations in Djibouti, Mozambique, Liechtenstein, Seychelles, Azerbaijan, or Kyrgyzstan? And will Graham and Elizabeth be invited? No. And that's nothing against them. I don't want to travel with any other couple ever. Like, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't make sense.
Elizabeth wouldn't want it either.
Well, no shit. I mean, you guys, we live separate lives, so definitely. But I mean, even when we have somebody that is on the same page as us, I just don't want to share a vacation with someone that, that wants to be in the lobby at 7:30 a.m. ready to go.
We're not that
ain't
couple,
me.
though. We're not.
Not saying you, but I mean, you know what I mean. It's just like when you're on
Right.
vacation, it's just you kind of want to do your own thing, and
you want more bathrooms in there when you're sharing. It's
yeah. I'm not totally opposed to it, but Jordan and his wife Sam, we've traveled together, and that's fine. Like, but he's like my best friend, so like we are on the same page, and the ladies do their thing. So it's like he and I share more in common. So
what are you saying?
You and I don't share anything in common, so we traveled.
That's fair.
I would respect your guys' privacy and everything, but we wouldn't want to go do some of the things that you and Elizabeth did. Maybe T would, but not me.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Mojo Jojo, as a part of the Big Noon Backlash, can we get Jason Benetti to replace Gus?
That would be nice.
Oh, my God.
Benetti would be great.
Yeah.
The sweet sounds of Jason
and
Benetti.
Klatt. Get Klatt out of there, too.
Yeah.
Whoever does the games with Benetti, let him do them with him.
Yeah. Although I think if Klatt did games with Benetti, he'd be less annoying. You know what I mean? Like, I think Benetti would – I think the overall aura would be different.
Klatt's tough to overcome, though. I mean, he does a great job. I get it. He's good at what he does, but, man. A little smarmy. Mojo Jojo, I'm going to the Michigan Northwestern game as a Northwestern alum. Can't ever go for the MSU game. I would get too much blood on my muskox flannel. Any tips on how to needle them? Claim they're just a football school and our academics are better, inverse of what they do to MSU.
It's tough if you're Northwestern to needle Michigan because they truly are in some ways. I mean, they're different types of schools, but more of a
shut up, nerd.
Athletically big brother, yeah. Because I don't know. I don't know what I would if the problem too is Northwestern's football team is not good. So like this is not going to go well. You got nothing to like if you had your football team winning, then you could do the thing like what do you guys actually have going for you? Like what is the point of this school? Like if you can't win in football, what is the point? Like there are lots of counters to that. But I'm just saying like you would have something to say. I don't know.
I mean, they have a cool new stadium, the thing that's going to happen or whatever by the water, right? I mean, their practice facility is kind of cool.
But are you really needling Michigan? I mean, are you making them? How do you make somebody feel bad if you're Northwestern? If you're,
I don't know.
It's tough.
That is tough.
Yeah, I mean, and part of the problem is, how I feel about Northwestern and Medill journalism school. Fuck Medill. So there's a smugness. Like I feel a certain way about Northwestern Medill kids, is a lot of people do about Michigan.
B. Greenfield next. I'm going to watch MSU play at Northwestern in January. What's the local bars to check out while in Evanston?
It's not a great bar scene, to be honest with you. I would not hang out in Evanston. I would hang out in the north side of Chicago and you can either, pick a neighborhood or downtown or you can go up, up near Loyola area and that area would have – it's just not great. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, I've never stayed in Evanston. I've hung out there tiny bit. So I would make Chicago your playground and make that your day instead of Northwestern. There's probably something, and things may change a little bit, and there's probably something nearby, but nothing I can really recommend.
B. Greenfield, was it the pure options, or did I hear Rube used to watch his grandma use the bathroom? Well, I didn't watch her. I was at a young age when my parents, they were in their early 20s, so they would drop me off at Grandma and Grandpa's all the time. So when I would stay over there, I would wake up and Grandma, if she was in the bathroom, the door would be wide open, and I'd turn the corner and see her, with a girdle hanging to the floor, and I'd be like, oh, Jesus, and then go back. I wasn't watching, so, yeah.
Yeah.
She did, courtesy flush came from Grandma Nick, though. By the way, courtesy flush stickers, we have those with purchase. We'll be putting those,
nice.
Yeah. With your purchase on teacups.org, by the way.
So Grandma Nick came up with courtesy flush.
Because she used to drop heat, but it never would smell because my room was way off the bathroom. It was, it was right in front. So, I would have smelled it by then, and I would hear a flush. I'm like, well, she's not done. And it's like, so,
Very
courtesy
nice.
flush. Shout out Grandma Nick. Rest in peace. C-Dubs, how much should we read into Nick Marsh's comments about improving next year before saying the rest of the season?
I wasn't there to hear it. So, sometimes if you're somewhere and you hear something, you can sort of read tea leaves and wait a sec, did he change language that made it sound like he's not going to be around or something like that? I wasn't there. I was, one of the downsides of this time of year, as much as I enjoy the football and basketball both going at the same time with a lot of other things, I was in Atlanta for the Champions Classic. So I don't know if there's anything to read into it. My experience with Nick Marsh and his, family and just his disposition has been to think that's a guy who's going to be around. And there's nothing I've seen from him that would say otherwise. That said, in this day and age, I don't trust any of it. And he's certainly going to be somebody that teams would come for because he can change who you are offensively.
C-Dubs, if the second five for MSU hoops are better than the first five, why not start the second five?
Yeah, it's team dynamics, right? And I'm not saying it couldn't happen at some point. And it almost would be better than just picking out certain guys because then it's those guys,
Don't coach my team.
But I think they'll stay with this. And again, you can play. You can decide the minutes any way you want to beyond the start, right? Now, if the starting five just stinks at getting off to a decent start, if that becomes an issue, then you got to look at things. But I just don't think it's that consequential other than to the egos of the players and the team dynamics.
Mr. Benjen, based on MSU's first 3 games, do you change your basketball season predictions? Ooh, that's a good idea. Then you can put out a new version.
Every week?
Yeah. Your boss would like that, I think.
So I not really, actually. I think they're about in line. They really are. Because what did I have? I had a fairly decent record, like 25-10 or somewhere. I forget what it was. A 4 or 5 seed range in the NCAA tournament, which I think is still
typical Homer coach.
Something they could get to. And then there's nothing yet that I've seen that says they can't do it. And there are some things to watch. Jaden Akins, Booker, and whether they have enough scoring and how this all works itself out. And there are some things I really like in terms of their just defensive tenacity. The way they move with the ball, which is a little different and better than it's been in recent years. There are some things like I'm looking forward to seeing them play Bowling Green because it's like a
exhibition.
No. It's a team that I think is probably a little bit better than the first 2 teams they played. But moreover, they present a bunch of different lineups. But what you want to see from Michigan State is consistency of certain traits. There's got to be a response from Jaden Akins. There's got to be improvement from things. But is this a team that has no-show days? Like last year's team had that problem. And if this is a team that consistently, and maybe it's because guys are fighting for roles and there's nobody, it's dangerous to have a no-show day yourself. But if this is a team that's consistently playing the way it's played defensively to this point, then that's a really good sign.
Mr. Benjen Rube, how many kids have you shoved in a locker? I'm a smart kid who wouldn't have let you cheat. Listen, don't get it twisted. I was a nerd. I wasn't shoving anybody into a locker. I just was saying he was somebody. Scott Harris looks like someone you would shove in a locker because he kept giving you the wrong answer you didn't want to hear. I never was,
Have you ever been shoved into a locker?
I never was, thankfully, because I was in the intermediate. Like, I wasn't like a super loser, but I just was like, people didn't care about me, and I played sports, so I was athletic, that thing, but I wasn't in the athlete crowd, but I wasn't really, I wasn't a big kid. I was 5'8", I think senior year, 5'7", $150 or something
so
like that.
you grew like 7 inches after your senior year?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yes, dude. I was 18, 19, and I started working out, and I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, if I would have had this like in school, I still would have sucked at football, but maybe something else would have happened, and the ladies would have liked me a lot more.
I mean,
Who knows?
Those are really interesting genetics, and you are not. The rest of us in this world are never going to get to see the rest of what the spawn of Jason might be.
No.
That's all.
And you should thank me, and I should get tagged. Believe me, you don't want another little addict running around. Like, I'm just telling you, the Nick bloodline needs to stop. It's okay. It's okay, Graham. Don't worry about it. Matt C., would you still take Sam Levitt over Aiden Childs, Graham? I sure as hell you would. You nailed that one, Graham. Kudos to you.
Right now, yeah.
By the way, kudos to Benjen for saying he was a smart kid in school, by the way.
Why wouldn't you say that?
I don't know. It's not something you say.
I would want to be. I wish I was a smarter kid. You know?
Yeah, you wish, but you don't say it.
Yeah. Anyway, right now for the season, yeah. Yes, I would. Long term, meaning next year or the year after, I don't know yet. Part of it is like Sam Levitt is somebody that watching last year, and it's not because he was wearing number 7 and has a little bit of an Elway walk, and there's a certain thing you see, is je ne sais quoi, that you I won't use that word on the show again.
Elway walk, yeah.
But there's a certain thing you just see, a trait, and that I like. I've watched him play a little bit this year, not enough to really have that evaluation, but like going forward is what I mean. But based on production this year and everything, yeah, I would take Sam Levitt this year.
Matt C., give me one compelling reason to care about MSU athletics under Alan Haller. And I don't care about non-revenue sports like hockey.
Couple things. Hockey is a revenue sport. That's a break-even sport, but it is the third revenue sport, right? And so, and that's not Alan Haller's fault that you don't care about hockey. It's
yeah, it is. Matt C. cares, so Haller better step up.
Yeah, well,
it's pretty simple math.
Yeah, I mean, you still got the same basketball program that you've grown up loving, I would say.
But if it makes no revenue, how is it a revenue sport, though? If it breaks just straight even, right?
It's considered a revenue sport because you're not losing money on it necessarily if you do it well. That's all.
Okay. Matt C., does Jonathan Smith give you Monty Williams vibes? His body language looks like a guy who misses Oregon, and the lack of recruiting suggests he's not really trying.
I've not once equated Jonathan Smith with Monty Williams. It's an interesting comparison. It's year one of what I think is been a difficult schedule, and it's a hard thing to do. But there's nothing about what I've seen from him that suggests that he doesn't care. Are there moments that he thinks, like right now when it's dark at 5:30 and it's 48 degrees and it's gray, that he thinks, man, SoCal would have been nice?
And by the way, Monty Williams is a hero around here. We always talk about getting paid to go away. He is the legend of getting paid to go away. He didn't have to deal with Gores for more than 6 months, and he got broke off $100 million. That's legend. You're a legend.
Okay.
No? Captain Sparty, why do you keep reading Matt C's stupid-ass tweets? Because they're great. Back-to-back state volleyball champs, Dad. Is it weird if after thinking about Jason's grandma peeing, I still maintain a full staff? Hey, man, you're into what you're into. It's all good. Fart Soup Graham, what's more likely to happen first, the resurrection of Christ, nuclear fission, or Jackson Kohler's three-point shot?
Well, I've been told the resurrection of Christ is coming for a long time, so I don't know. I think Kohler's three-point shot is pretty much already there. There are times where, it just doesn't seem to get enough into it. But like I think his three-point shot will be a pretty consistent thing this season. I'll make a bet with you, Fart Soup, because I know Fart Soup. I met Mrs. Fart Soup, which she hates being called Mrs. Fart Soup.
Bragger.
Yeah. A beer on me.
Ooh.
If Jackson Kohler shoots under 35% from 3 this year.
Ooh, just one beer and for a full year bet?
And if it's over 35%, a beer on you. The Midtown
like
Brewing,
you're going to pour it on him.
Midtown Brewing Company, American Stout from Fart Soup. Yeah. And
just pick up his tab. Like, what are we doing here?
Okay,
One beer for a year bet? I mean,
I'll pick up your tab. You pick up my tab.
Oh,
35%.
Fart Soup.
Careful, because you get me at Midtown Brewing Company. There's a lot to like.
That's a hundo bill there. Fart Soup Graham, who is the heel when it comes to Spartan speak? I genuinely can't tell. 1 minute Solari is throwing bombs. The next you're making condescending hmms, haws, and dramatic sighs. Sometimes I wonder if it's court-ordered podcast. Damn, I love you too. Wait.
I will.
Graham.
I will.
That's a podcast. There's a clip.
Things.
Graham.
I do love that line, a court-ordered podcast. like instead of
I've been on
community
probation.
service.
That's the thing now, I guess.
Yeah, you got to do it. That's where we're headed with this.
Can you imagine that if you're court ordered to listen to a podcast
or to do a podcast? You have to do a podcast.
Now I'd listen to that if someone was court ordered to do a podcast. It sounds like some people that do a podcast are court ordered sometimes.
Yeah. It depends on the mood. Like, we were trying to record a Spartan Speak last night that may come out before the games. Who knows?
Ooh, a tease.
Yeah, well, the problem is Xfinity. Fuck Xfinity. Last night, midnight, we're doing this.
We're dropping MFers now?
We're doing this podcast, and my internet goes out completely. And finally, I get on the Xfinity site through my phone, and it says, there's an outage in your area. We're doing maintenance. Like, how about an email? How about some heads up? It screwed up the whole night. We had to try and do it this morning. I mean, I'm sorry, man. Like, Xfinity and I are going to have some words because that's not cool. That's like, you got to give people a heads up. Is somebody who works for a company that struggles with customer service, that's not cool. That's not cool.
I think Xfinity just sold some more cable subscriptions now. They're fucking with you. Jebediah, to answer Fart Soup's airplane boner dilemma, if thinking of your grandma pissing with the door open or your dog licking its anal glands doesn't work, you can always flex your bicep until the blood flow rushes away from your mule.
Good advice.
I have to try that.
Yeah.
Next Groovy Donuts live read, try it, Grant.
I can't do it right now.
Pop.
Can't quite do it.
What if you don't have a bicep? Jebediah, are people actually leaving Twitter because the meat shield wearing the wrong colored tie won, or am I missing something? This app is the exact same as it was last Tuesday. People are so damn soft.
The difference is before last Tuesday, the guy who's running the app, who had his finger largely on the scale, hadn't impacted the election. Like now that the election's happened, his impact, which had a direct impact, is seen. And so and people just don't want to be told, your body, my choice, and that's it's not. It is the same app, and it was a bad app last Tuesday. I am not leaving Twitter because, number one, it's still where I think the largest audience that follows my work is.
All right, Owen.
But I'm not done.
Oh, my bad.
Jesus.
So sorry.
But I think Blue Sky is just a more pleasant place to be, so I may spend a lot more time over there. And wanting to not exist in a toxic environment is not being soft. Okay. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Owen, has MSU's basketball program the last few years been primarily feeling the loss of Dwayne Stevens, working with the big men, or are struggles there due to the circumstances?
I think the big men have been okay this year. I don't know about you, but I think they've been fine. So do I think that they missed Dwayne Stevens? I do. I think that he was really good, and I think you saw that the last couple of years. They have Sadi Washington now working with the bigs. They made a change there, and I don't know how much that's just natural growth and personnel, adding Zapala, having a healthy Jackson Kohler who's grown up a little bit, and how much that's having Sadi Washington. But I right now I don't think that's a group that's struggling the way they were.
Owen, next, do you trust the MSU football coaching staff's ability to develop, specifically with guys who are going to be sophomores and juniors next year, looking to play more prominent roles? DBs, O-line, D-line specifically.
The only evidence we have is what they did at Oregon State. So and some of those, and then Courtney Hawkins, what he's done with receivers, and so based on that, yeah. I mean, I never trust anything completely, but based on the track record of the offensive line coach, and again, you got to see it to believe it with offensive line, but I think this is a good developmental staff. I think they've shown that, and so they're going to have they ought to have that opportunity to do it.
Tyler, aside from unsportsmanlike and late hits, what's the most boneheaded football penalty? I'll argue return team block in the back. It happens so often, while big returns happen so infrequently and don't require these blocks.
It is the most frustrating thing in the world when you see a flag and then the guy takes off, and you're like, just put your hands behind your back. Don't.
But that's refs. That do you have to call it the same way? Could we change the way the block in the back is called for returns, or if as long as it's not egregious, the block, or just get rid of the kick returns, because like you said, I mean, it's just when you see a return, you go, all right, that's coming back, without even seeing a flag. Corey Ostrom, why won't Cohen Carr play the 4 as much as the MSU fan base and a certain esteemed journalist Muskox model would like him to? Because it's not sustainable over a long period of time and is much more effective in small bursts. He is simply outsized and does not spread the floor.
No, if he could hit threes, it would help. I still think him at the 4 with Kohler at the 5 is an intriguing group that can run. Now, the way their fast break is set up with the wings, he is more effective on the wing if he's at the 3. Now, they could fix that because you're right. They have the 4 off and trailing, but you can change it. That's what coaching is, right? You could have Kohler being the guy who's trailing the play, stepping into the 3, even as he's at the 5. And, they did that with, Adrian Payne was at the 5 a lot his senior year when he was trailing the play and doing that. They've done it with different guys at different positions. You can fix that stuff.
Fix it in post.
Yeah, no, but there is something. I mean, Cohen Carr is only a 6'5" person, and that is not usually what you see at power forward. And he's got to rebound and defend. You're only as good as the position you can defend. Sure.
All right, Corey. Will Cal Halliday get less run going forward in favor of Matthews, Hall, Snow, and possibly some of the younger athletic linebackers? Seeing quarterbacks check into slants and crosses when they see him in there is getting tiresome.
I don't know. I know there's a lot of frustration with him. He does a few things well, and he's become that guy. Izzo's had a lot of these guys, going back to Steve Polanowski, and guys that people just don't want to see on the court as much and play a lot. And Kenny Goins' early years and things like that. And certainly his inability to cover or tackle certain guys in space is just not a strength of his.
Some dude, guys, what can really pragmatically be done about improving the ass officiating? All AI? That would also be ass. They still don't get all of the replays correct.
That's a good point. I mean, it seems like they have to find a happy medium, and we're talking football, I'm guessing here, but it's like where you've got assists from New York, it can go quickly, and more things should be able to be reviewed, but reviewed quickly with assist without going under the hood, right? Like quickly done. That's the way you get it better, right?
I mean, I like the way they do it in New York, where they have like the kind of the hub center there where they look over all plays, but like when they kick Branch out, it was kind of quick. I just don't know why when it comes to something like that, we can't take our time a little bit, but when it's something that should be bang, bang, that way you can help refs not have to go under the hood and we can get things moving faster.
And I think all plays where the ball changes teams, like there's a turnover or whatever, the whole play should be under review. In other words, we've seen plays where, like, we saw it with Aiden Childs, and we've seen it now in the NFL a little bit, where there's a really bad face mask before a fumble that's missed. That ought to be reviewable. It's like that's one thing soccer does really well. When there's a goal, they if there's a foul in the build-up play, they can review it and say, no, that goal doesn't count, even if it was 5 seconds earlier. And if it, to me, anytime the ball changes hands, you ought to be able to review that entire play to see if there was like an egregious penalty.
Some dude, Couch, you asked what would we want you to do about all this BS Michigan stuff. For example, stomping. First, can you figure out what happened by getting Matt Mancarini on it? Then I will offer the ghost write it for you. We'll keep the person anonymous so no one cares to expose that person. How is this headline? Mullings, not exactly a superhero.
It's a good headline, actually.
We are just so tired of these bullshit prevailing narratives existing for a bunch of true scumbags. We can do the poop wiping in the locker story together next summer.
See, there are two things in life that get me excited. One is a really good headline, and that is it. Mullings, Khalil Mullings, not exactly a superhero. That almost entices me to want to go after it. The other is a groovy donut. And, so by the way, and if that excites you the way it does me, groovydonuts.com, again, this week, or every week, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m., Thursday through Sunday, Lake Lansing Road, East Lansing, and also in Williamston. And if you want a Khalil Mullings is not a superhero written on a donut, they will do that for you at Groovy Donuts. You can, whatever makes you feel better, Groovy Donuts is here for you. And, fall donuts are there. I mean, to have the maple bacon fritters this weekend.
Pump that bicep, Couch.
Yep. Now I can stand up
Blood
again.
flowing.
Yep. There we go. I'm with you, some dude. I get it, and we'll see if anything comes to pass.
Mr. Neurotic Pants. Vegas has Tyson as an underdog in the upcoming fight. Some say Paul's ability are not high caliber. What do you think? Also, why do I want to watch this fight? Is it just the hype? Well, that and the fact it's on Netflix. right? It's an easy. You just turn. I mean, who doesn't have Netflix and you can pop it on? It's not like the pay-per-view where you have to spend $89.90 something.
When is it, tonight or tomorrow?
I think it's tonight.
Tonight.
Yeah.
Tyson's 60, right? So is this? But I mean, he still looks amazing. I mean,
yeah, he's in shape. But I mean, come on. Even when he was like 15 years ago, he didn't look that. I don't know. I'm with Dan Patrick. I don't want to see Tyson get knocked out, but these things are all kind of a joke sometimes, and I'm just expecting. But since it's on Netflix, I'll have it on, right?
Watch it.
Yeah. Neurotic Pants. What do you think of those strange-looking Tesla vehicles? What is it they remind me of? Transformers, Kit from Knight Rider, the Batmobile.
We talking about?
Is he trolling you? Is he trying to get you going?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly which ones you're talking about.
He's talking about the Cybertrucks.
Cybertrucks, yeah. Okay.
Or are you one of those guys that doesn't know? Like,
I know what Cybertruck.
Like when Justin Bieber was popular back in the day. Like, that Justin Bieber guy.
Do you think it's a decent looking the Cybertruck? When you look at it, you go, I'd like one of those.
It's not a car that I would think that's attractive or looks cool to me. I do like electric vehicles. I'm down for that. But
so it
doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, we have a hybrid Jeep, and it gives us like 25 miles on a full charge. So if you're just going to be around town, it's great. You don't have to fill up for a while. But the second year on the highway didn't really do you any good. And almost everybody I know to this day still has, if you have an electric, you got to have a regular car too. Because otherwise, like I got a aunt and uncle coming from upstate New York. They're like stopping every 40 minutes to like charge for 2 hours. It's just not,
that would be ponderous.
I couldn't imagine that. Yeah.
Yeah, Neurotic Pants. Was MSU getting its ass kicked by Indiana a definitive sign of regression or a lack of progress, or will we see MSU snap out of it this weekend?
Well, Indiana's just better than them, and they have good vibes and all that stuff going, and Michigan State doesn't. But I do think, to your point on progress, this is an important weekend. This is a progress weekend. This is a check on progress, no doubt.
All right, Munfield Keg. Is Doug Wojcik going to go down in Spartan history as Izzo's Dave Warner, a guy who is an average or even below average recruiter and coach who nobody else really wants and has ultimate job security? I know it happens in the corporate world too. What a life.
So, and Jason, in terms of the coaches Michigan State has had that drive people nuts, Wojcik, Dave Warner.
That's not close.
Where are
Dave Warner? Yeah, it's any football coach over Wojcik. I mean, Wojcik took some shit last year, but other than that, it kind of goes away. Football,
because you see it direct. The coordinators in football, it's such a more high profile thing. People will forget about an assistant basketball coach for weeks on end. They will never forget about an offensive or defensive coordinator when that side of the ball is struggling.
Scott Yu with EPL play resuming next weekend after the dreaded international break. I am interested to know what are the features of the league and what lead you to your midlife love for the EPL.
It's a good question. I don't know. It came out of the pandemic era. They came back pretty early, but it wasn't even that. I was just looking for something. I think I was looking for something new. I've always liked soccer. Played in high school. I've always been into it to a degree, and I think some of it was the accessibility for it. Realizing how much I like the sport and the timing of the sport. So for somebody who works a lot of nights and weekends, having the mornings and afternoon games during the week and just things that fit my schedule made me get into it. But it's a great question because it truly is like midlife crisis type stuff. I mean, you ask my wife, I'll watch a movie and accidentally be watching the Spanish version for 5 minutes before I realize it. And I think that stems from how much Mexican soccer I watch. And I don't even think twice. I'm just like at peace when I'm listening to people announce in Spanish. It's where I am. Yeah,
You're the best, man. Scott, do you like all the teams in the league? Have a couple favorites? Pick a team each season to avoid relegation. Torquay will make it someday.
Torquay, close.
Whatever. I played soccer all my life. Started watching EPL in 2011. Picked Crystal Palace in 2013 to avoid relegation. They are still staying up.
Matt Carini's a big Crystal Palace fan as well. Came over to watch the games from time to time. And so Torquay is probably never going to get up that high. I would like them to get to like League 2 at least and be in the 4th division instead of the 6th division. Would be nice. I don't have a team each. Like I have teams I bet on like for season futures, and I have some teams I like watching. But I don't have like a club team that I'm like all into. And I have teams I don't enjoy watching. And that Tottenham, I mean, even as entertaining as they are, just screw Tottenham. So I'm really an anti-Tottenham guy, and then I have other teams. When you talk about why I love the relegation side of things, I love the promotion and relegation. I mean, that does create an intensity you just don't get elsewhere, and I think that's another reason I fell in love with it.
Jake Hawkins, what do you
Way
think?
to stay awake, by the way.
What do you think is hindering Xavier Booker's development? Is there any bad blood between him and Tom Izzo? Please say yes.
I've never sensed it.
Oh.
No, never sensed it. And, Izzo goes out of his way to praise Booker's development, whether he always believes it or not, and I think he's trying to manage that situation as well. And I think part of it is just naturally who he is. Like, I think it is a lack of an aggressive personality and mindset on the court. And it's just not, it's something he's going to have to grow into to a certain degree, because especially at that position, if you're not an aggressive person, it's hard to be good.
I'm absolutely addicted to watching the shoot around pressers just for Fred Human, just to sit in the back and he does the microphone where he just flips it over to Izzo and asks a question casually, and then you hear Solari, and it's just great. I don't know. I'm addicted to it.
There are times where I know where Fred's going to try and go, so I try and get to that spot on the wall first, and then that's when you feel.
That's what makes it worth watching.
Yeah,
where did Fred get? Did Fred get back there? Yep, he won. All right, Jake Hawkins, what do you think needs to happen to address the 3-point shooting issues on MSU's basketball team?
Just keep shooting. They shot themselves out of it last year. They'll shoot themselves out of it this year.
What else can you do?
Yeah, they got good shooters. They're getting decent look. Just keep shooting.
Next one from the Hawk. What's the take on MSU football recruiting? I see we lost a tight end from Wisconsin who will play for the Badgers. Might lose a DB to Vatech, and a running back in our own backyard is visiting Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, it's not inspiring. That would be the word I would say. Not uninspiring has been the recruiting. That doesn't mean it's
the running back's allowed to visit Alabama.
True. Yep.
Yeah,
because commitments aren't really commitments, right? And frankly, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And they're talking about the kid at East Lansing, and a couple things. One, if you go back through time, kids at East Lansing High School rarely wind up at Michigan State. And I did a column on this years ago when Andrell Anthony went to Michigan. It's just too close backyard. Like, you go around the Lansing area, lots of kids go to Michigan State. East Lansing High School kids tend not to wind up there. So we'll see what actually happens. But, it's like anything in life, and some of it's the setup. I don't like the word commitment when it's used and then not being actually a commitment. But these kids choose to do something, and then a better opportunity may come along. And what are they supposed to say to it if it's going to be life-changingly different or something else they want to decide they want to do? Again, to answer the question, what's the take on MSU's football recruiting? At this point, uninspiring. I'm trying to take a wait-and-see approach, and we'll evaluate it when beginning with signing day, really.
All right, and the last one from the Hawk, thoughts on a recent LSJ article about Lansing's plan to attract and hire young professionals. The article has confirmed some suspicions of mine, like how Lansing has become boring with no nightlife, and that most people just go to work and then head home.
Jake, you're going to the wrong parts of Lansing. This is the most vibrant city on earth. We all know that. And
don't lie to them.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's a good place, Jake. You and I both know that.
It was awesome. Like, before T and I met, downtown, 2017, 2016, it was nice to be down here and a lot of shit to do, and you could just stop by and watch a game, have a beer, and eat something, right?
I think there's still a lot of that. It's
not as much as back then.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. I don't. Frankly, I mean, I understand what they're trying to do, but it's and I don't know if it works. I think Lansing's got a lot going for it. Some of it's the blank canvas effect that you've got, a lot of room to do things with, which isn't a great sign. The other thing I think about, downtowns, people always want Lansing's downtown to be vibrant. I get that, and it'd be nice to have, but what I really want is vibrant neighborhood. Like, if Old Town and Rio Town are great, and there are other areas of Lansing on the east side, or then that's fine. Like, if you go to the financial district or downtown in a lot of vibrant cities, there's nothing going on. And that's just the way it is. But Lansing, somehow, their downtown is held to this really, really high standard. Jake, you can tell you touched a nerve here. This is my it's both of our towns. So,
What do you think of the Tesla Cybertruck, Graham?
We appreciate all of you. Jake, everybody. Matt C. even.
Yeah.
Definitely. And of course, the great Eric Schultz for producing our show. We appreciate Groovy Donuts. And I'm telling you, make Groovy Donuts part of your weekend. It'll just improve your weekend. Part of your event, part of just you chilling by the TV watching games with a box of Groovy Donuts, or just a simple maple bacon fritter. Go to groovydonuts.com or swing by either location 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Thursday through Sunday, and that's Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing or in Williamson. We appreciate Pure Options. If you're still listening, Lord hopes you have some MGs in you. Thanks to Firekeeper's Eye Casino and Sportsbook. Good show, man.
Yeah, man.
Couch in the Rube.